it started to be a war of attrition. And me, as a CEO, I was working. It's very difficult to be the CEO of a startup. And especially in fintech, because technology changed a lot, so you have to work a lot. So that's already a full job for one person. But on top, I had a second job, which was to answer all the traps and tricks and bad actions and criminal actions that TCV was doing. So I was working non-stop fundamentally since 2010 to 2016. I had 2 jobs, full-time. One very oriented toward legal, and one just keeping the company running. They did all type of unbelievable things. At the time, just for people to realize how negative these people can be, we had 2 offers on the table to buy the company for $550 million. Obviously, when the problem happened in 2010, the 2 buyers shied away because they didn't want to get involved into a big fight. So we had really created a superb company. We had people who were interested in buying it. And these idiots, instead of just cashing in, and they would have made in 3 years 3 times their money, they destroyed it because they wanted to steal our share. So that proves the level of corruption in their mind, which is, it was already a very good investment. Anybody would have been interested in this kind of return. Show me a stock which is doing that. Pretty rare. So they killed the 2 deals. And after that, they created hell for us. They did it in incredible, nasty way. For instance, one day I was interviewing a young person, a young programmer, very talented, I really liked him. But my CTO told me that the position was taken, but I wanted to keep him as a backup. And so I still went through a full interview. And at the end I said, I'm not sure I have a position, but if I had one, you would have got it. And the guy was smiling. And I said, why are you smiling? Because I cannot guarantee you a job. And he said, well, it's a bit strange, but that's the first time I meet you, but I have the impression I know you. I said, we never met before, so how could you know me? He said, well, when I was in college, I was desperately looking for money. And one of my friends told me that a big company called TCV was paying students to put crap on CEOs of their companies. So I did write all the negative impact of employees in Glassdoor. I was the one to write them. That's why I know you a little bit. I have the impression. So I was paid to write all the negative things you can see in Glassdoor on you. I was the one to put them in there, paid by TCV. Another thing they did, which was amazing, one of my biggest clients took me 3 years to sign them, and then it becomes a marquee client for us. We built a lot of things with them, was AXA, the investment company. It's a very, very large insurer, but also investment company, and they are extremely sophisticated. And one day I was traveling in Europe, I think in Italy or somewhere, and my phone rings, and I have the head of investment at AXA telling me, Philippe, you have to come in the next 2 days to Paris. I said, well, it's lucky I'm in Europe, so I can. But why is that? He said, I cannot tell you, but you have to come. It's urgent. So it's a big client. Jumped in a plane. Next day I was in Paris. Came to their office. I'm introduced into, I'm in a room. In the room you had the head of investment, you had the head of trading, head of purchasing, head of legal. You had 6, 7 people against me. And the head of investment said, Philippe, we have you here because you've lied to us. So I laughed. I said, I never lie. This is not me. So he said, you didn't tell us you were bankrupt. I laughed even bigger. I said, look, I work for Dow Chemical. I manage bankrupt companies for a living. I was a banker. I went through a lot of bankruptcy. I've never seen a company with $75 million in cash being bankrupt. He said, you are lying. I said, okay. I opened my laptop and I did show them all my bank accounts around the world. And after that, I said, but I don't understand. We got this information by a good source. I said, what's your source? And they told me it's Barclays Bank, the investment banking side. I said, oh, I'm not surprised. Let's call the guy. So we called the guy, and the investment banker at Barclays told us that TCV told them that we were bankrupt. So they were trying to create clients, even to clients, despite being an investor, they were trying to create issues with clients in the company despite being an investor. It makes no sense at all. You have to be, as I said, it's all about racketeering. Otherwise, you wouldn't do that. If you don't want to steal, you don't need to do that. So anyway, we went through a lot of these things. Fundamentally, what they wanted to do is to destroy my profile in the market because I had a very strong profile. They wanted to steal the value I created with my employees. And they were looking for any way they could